Hello, my name is Renee, and I am the owner of Renee's Music Studio. I am a voice coach and also piano teacher. And I wanted to do this video today because I have been teaching for over 20 years, and every time I tell my students, I want you to go home, I want you to practice this for 15, 20 minutes a day. I'm not sure that they know exactly what to practice. And I think a lot of times we end up just singing our song over and over and over, but there's a lot more to what we can be doing during that practice time to really optimize our progress than just singing the song over and over again. So I wanted to kind of take this time to walk through what are those things that you should be doing to really create a successful practice environment and practice session. So first of all, when you are practicing, there are some things that you're going to need to set up your space. I want you to find a space that you can feel free to sing out. I want you to find a space where you can feel free to mess up, make some mistakes, because it's going to happen. We kind of have to try out some different things with our voice, and it might sound bad, it might sound weird, and that's okay because it's the means to an end, right? So find a place. Maybe it means not practicing in the living room, maybe it means practicing in the basement or practicing in your bedroom with a closed door. I'm all about performing for our friends and family, 100%. I encourage my students to do that. However, there's going to be some times when we just need to feel free and not feel self-conscious about if people can hear us or not. So I want you to think about where can you practice where you feel that freedom to sing out. So that's the first thing. Secondly, it's best if you have a keyboard or a piano. So I've got my piano back here behind me that I usually practice with. If you don't have a keyboard or piano, it's okay. You can still practice without that and practice successfully. So let me show you something. I do have an app on my phone. It's called Pocket Pitch. Hopefully you can see that okay. It's called Pocket Pitch. And with this app, I can give myself any starting note that I need. So let's say I'm going to start on middle C. So I can play C4 right here. Da, and now I have the note that I need. I didn't have to get it from a keyboard or a piano, okay? So there are some, that's the app that I like to use. It's called Pocket Pitch. It's free. It's got some nice features to it. Another thing that you should have with you is water. I want you to have some water. I prefer to have room temperature water. Cold water, it just doesn't feel really great on my throat. So have a water bottle with you when you're practicing. Keep everything nice and hydrated. All right, after water, a mirror. When I went to school, every practice room had a mirror in it because what your instrument is your body. It's your whole body from your head to your toes, not just this part. It's your whole body. So how you are standing, how you are breathing, where are your shoulders? Where are your arms? All of those things are going to affect your sound. It's going to impact your overall sound because your sound, your instrument is your body. So if you can have a mirror set up, like a full-length mirror ideally, then you can see oh man, I can tell my shoulders are coming forward. Oh, I don't have the diaphragmatic extension that I need to have. You can start to see those kinds of things when you are singing in front of a mirror. All right, so we've got our keyboard or piano or app, our water, our mirror. We need a stand. So I've got a stand right here in front of me. I want you to have a stand because you don't want to be holding your music. Again, it's about posture, right? So if I'm holding my music, a lot of times we hold our music down here. And what happens? Now I'm looking down. Now my chin is tucked into my chest. I need to have my music more in front of me. And if I have a stand, then I can adjust that stand and I'm not having to figure out how to hold it. If you are singing using a piano, You can use the stand of the piano or the keyboard to hold your music. If you are going to sit down when you practice, don't sit on the couch. Don't sit on a beanbag chair, okay? Don't sit on your bed. Don't sit on a place that is comfy and cushy that you're gonna like sink into. That's for when you're watching TV. That's for when you're doing other things. When you are singing and you're gonna sit down, I want you to sit down on a more of a like a hard surface, right? Okay, so when I sit down, I'm still standing from the waist up. Okay, that's gonna be easier for me to do on this piano bench than if I'm on my bed. Right? If I'm on my bed, I'm gonna like kind of lounge back on my pillows, like I'm hanging out. That's not gonna do good for my voice. That's not gonna do good for my body, right? And then finally, you want to have your music. So whatever that looks like for you, a lot of my students, I assign them this book. This is for the females. I have another book that is for my male students. So this, I really, really like this book. It's got this sheet music in it. It's okay. If you don't understand everything that's on here, that's okay. It is a good idea for you to still follow along in the music when you are practicing so that you can get to know what is here on the page. So I always recommend having some kind of sheet music. If you're working on a song that doesn't come in a book, you can probably find it online for a few bucks. Musicnotes.com is a good one. Sheetmusic.com is a good one. There are a number of sites that you can go to and get the actual sheet music, not just the lyrics, but the sheet music, so you can see what's happening in terms of where the notes are going and what is happening rhythmically as well. All right, so we've got our space all set up. We're ready to sing. We've got our stand, we've got our music, got our water, got something that we can use to get that pitch. Now it's time to start singing. Don't start singing your song yet. We got some other things to do. First, we are going to warm up our body because that's your instrument, right? I want you to find some stretches that you like to do. I like to stretch out my shoulders a little bit, get things loosened up, right? A lot of times we need our voice can be a little tense, and some of that tension just comes from our body, right? Roll your shoulders around. If you have tension in your jaw, take a moment and relax your jaw, massage your jaw, okay? If you have tension in your back, do some stretches for your back, massage out your back, okay? So take a few moments to get your body prepared to create the sound. Then I want you to do some breathing exercises. What does that mean? We're just going to do something that you can see that you're using that diaphragm, that we're singing with a diaphragmatic breath. So it might just be putting your hands on your abdomen like I am now, and when you breathe, you see that your fingers are coming apart, that there's expansion there. Okay, I have a number of other breathing exercises that you can find in other resources from me. I'm not going to go into details about those right here, but I do want you to do some breathing exercises as part of your warm-up. Now we are ready to sing, okay? So if you are someone who likes to sing high, like myself, I'm a soprano, I like to sing high. If you sing high, I want you to warm up your lower voice first. We call that your chest voice. Do some exercises that are low first. If you like to sing low, then I want you to warm up your high voice first, okay? And then we'll go and warm up your low voice. So whatever is kind of that area that's a little more challenging for you, that's where I want you to start. Because if you start in the area where you are the strongest, then that voice, that register is going to take over, okay? And it's going to be harder for you to get into the other register. So start by warming up the register that is your weaker register, whether that's head voice or chest voice. Some of the things that I like to do just to get the voice working a little bit is some sighs. ah, ah. Just getting that voice moving in some easy ways, especially if you're trying to start high. You can start those sighs really high. Ah. You can also take them into the chest voice too as well. Some lip trills, that's a great way to warm up. Okay? Those are some easy ways to get the voice moving. Also, I think it's best to start with warm-ups that are short, that are staccato. So like the notes are short, you're not holding the notes out, okay? One of my favorites that I do with my students is we do a beep. So I'll have them go beep, 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 okay? And then we'll work up by half steps from there. And then once the voice is warmed up, then we'll do some longer warm-ups. I love to sing. Because there we're holding out that top note, right? So our voice needs to be a little bit more warmed up to do that. Now that you're warmed up, you have your space set up, your voice is warmed up. Now I want you to work on your technique. What does that mean for you? Well, that depends. That depends on what you are working on right now with your voice teacher, or maybe you've come across some things yourself that you really want to dive into. You can do some exercises to help you with your vowels. Maybe you need to have taller, rounder vowels for what you're singing. You can do exercises to help you with your consonants, your articulation. Maybe you've been told that people can't understand what you're singing, so you have to get those plosive consonants going. Something else you might need to work on is breath support and breath control. So that's different than our breathing exercises. With breath support and control, you're going to be focusing on that breath, but you're going to be singing, and we're going to see how are you utilizing that breath as you are singing. You might need to do some technique work on your registers. Maybe you have a really hard time singing in your chest voice, and so you want some exercises to help develop your chest voice. Maybe you want to work on your resonance. Does your sound tend to be in the throat? Do you want to bring it more forward so it has more of that ring to it? There are exercises that you can do to work on that technique as well. Now that we have set up our space, we've warmed up our body and our voice, we've worked on some technique. Now it's time for our repertoire. Now it's time for us to work on the actual song that we are planning to work on. Couple things about practicing your repertoire. Number one, I don't recommend practicing a cappella unless you're going to perform it a cappella. A cappella means that you are singing without a piano, without a recording, without anything else. It's just your voice. Most of the time, we sing with something. Someone's playing the piano, we're playing a recording like karaoke, that kind of thing. We're usually not singing a cappella. So I really recommend that you sing along with something. So I provide my students with a recording where it's just, I'm just singing and playing just the notes. So we don't have to listen to the accompaniment. We don't have all those other things going on. And they can just focus on what are the notes that I need to sing and what is the rhythm that I need to sing. I also like to start them out singing on just ba or B. So again, we're just taking away as much as we can so we can focus on what are the notes, what's the rhythm. We're just focusing on notes and rhythm for that first week or two. Then we can add in the words, obviously, as my students get to know that melody. So another thing that you can do is this book that I was showing you here. This book has a accompaniment. It has all the accompaniments that come with it. So in this book, you can go to this website right here, and then there's a code, and you put in the code, and then you have access to all of the accompaniment tracks for these songs. So that's another great way to practice your song. One of the reasons that it's important we practice along with the recording is because if you try to sing a cappella, you might be singing the song higher or lower than what the accompaniment is going to be. If your song is in the key of C, you might end up practicing it in the key of G. So then when you go to perform it, you're going to be used to singing it higher than what it actually is. Or maybe you're going to be used to singing it lower than what it actually is. So I always recommend practicing your song with a recording. And then to do that on a syllable at first as well. So we have got our space set up to sing. We have done our warm-ups. We have done our technique. Now we have practiced our song. And now your practice time is over. That is what a successful practice session looks like from start to finish. So for my students, if you're working on 1 to 2 songs, I say that should take you between 15 and 20 minutes time. And so I would really recommend that people practice 4 to 5 times a week. This is our body. So just like anything else that we do with our body, it takes time to develop. It's better for you to work on your singing for 15, 20 minutes a day than try to sing for 4 hours once every 2 weeks, okay? Like, we're not running a marathon. We got to work up to that and do a little bit every day. So I hope this information helps you, and keep on singing.